Yo, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're one of the tally marks on my wall, one of the 27 tally marks. Thank you for coming or coming back. Today I'm going to be doing a game review, or literally just spouting nonsense about my opinion of Dungeons of Hinterberg. Hinterberg. So, because I have no, this is the very first time I'm doing this, so I have no structure. I don't even know what the fuck it is that I'm gonna do. I'm literally just gonna talk about this shit because why? Because I have strong opinions towards things, and games happen to be one of them. So that's what I'm gonna fucking do. We're gonna start off with the good things and then go to the bad things, and at some point, probably about, I don't know, 15,000 times, I will go off on tangents. Maybe, I don't know. But let's just get into it. Very first thing, off rip, this game looks fucking amazing. They kind of follow, they half follow Borderlands of like the cell shading. It looks fucking good. Now, some of the characters look so fucking wonky though. Like, they actually just turned Travis into a hipster fuckhead. Like, I cannot fucking stand that man. They literally, like, this is the board of director meeting, right? They go, hey, design a character that is a guy who literally hates everything all the time and is a journalist. They're like, I got the perfect look for you. Beanie, like my stupid ass. A fucking, like, a whole beard, sideburns, and just the shittiest attitude ever. That's Travis right there. And then there's like, they did the dog good. The dog looks good. But most of the people, I mean, they look fine. But the whole game itself looks fucking beautiful. It looks absolutely amazing. Another thing is all the female characters, or at least the main character, Louisa, that you play as, they made her absolutely camel-toed the fuck up. Like, if you have the image of a camel foot, enlarge that image by about 25%, and that's what like her whole shit looks like. I don't know who was like looking at it, was like, yeah, this big ass canyon under this lady looks perfect, because it doesn't. It looks fucking terrible. But, you know, as far as the art goes, it is a fucking solid 25 out of 25. It looks fucking amazing. The character that I was talking about, Louisa, something that you can do on her dialogue trees is dialogue tree. It's just an option, and usually that option doesn't even span to anything else. Like, sometimes you'll have like 3-4 options, and I'm pretty sure you'll probably just get the same ish outcome for a response. So I mean, does it really matter? No. But you can kind of be like this sassy bitch sometimes. Like, like at one point, you're having a conversation with Alex, who's like the side main character, and she asks you, the main character, like all these personal questions, and then you can come back and be like, well, you know, what about you? What are something? And then Alex will be like, I don't really like talking about myself, and your character will be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, not literally, but essentially be like, the fuck you talking about, dog? I just gave you all this information. You're not even gonna say shit? The fuck? So I think that's pretty cool. I have no other examples, but she's kind of a sassy little bitch, and I do appreciate that. I like having actual options in the dialogue, not what, huh, and humph, you know, as dialogue, or like literally the same exact thing 4 different times. Like, it actually feels like the developers had something that they wanted to do, but I feel like they didn't execute it with the response back to the sass. But hey, whatever. At least you can at least see that Louisa's kind of, you know, she got some spunk in her. The abilities in the game, they're pretty freaking cool. Freaking. My bad. I didn't know I was fucking Cord Kenshin. They are pretty sick. 2 of my favorite ones. One of them is literally just a magic snowboard. You just spawn on it and you just zip away like you're Shaun White. You unfortunately can't do any tricks. That would, if they added tricks, I mean, that area of the game, I'd be there all fucking day. But if you could hit them with the fucking Tonka Tanka, that'd be sweet as shit. With the fucking ass mangler 620, I'd be there all fucking day. The second one is the jelly block. It's not like anything that's super crazy to use, but it's just unique in every word of the sense. You literally summon this giant block of goop, and it just traps enemies in it. And of course, all these abilities you use for the puzzles too. We'll get to the puzzles in a minute. That's a negative right there, sort of. But literally the jelly block, you just hold them in place and then you stab them in the mouth just a lot of times. It's more like twice, and then it breaks. But it's still pretty cool. There's some other unique ones, and then there's some like pretty generic ones, but it's like, whatever. You know, what do? You can't. If they had every ability in here be like a what the fuck is this type of shit, that would be fantastic. But they don't. Whatever. It ain't really that big of a deal. Speaking of the dungeons, though, that's where we're going next. This is going to be the pro side of the dungeons. I'll give a little bit of negative first. The dungeons are fucking boring, if I'm being honest. They are so time-consuming, but for the wrong reasons. Like, half the time when you go into a new type of dungeon, it won't even explain to you all the mechanics that are available. So in the second area, I don't even remember what it's called, like Hinterwald, I think, there is an ability where you can like just shoot like air. I don't even know. This is the go-go web from Spider-Man. One of these. You like shoot like an air spike or something, but it can also be used to pick shit up. But it doesn't tell you what you can pick up with it. So at one point in this big-ass dungeon, it's like a side-scroller. That's part of the pros. You can pick up this, like, explosive glob of goo and chuck it. But it never tells you can do that. So when I was there for the first time, I swear to God, I spent 25 minutes in that one fucking part. Thank you, truck. Because I did not know that you could pick that thing up and blow the shit up. I actually thought my game was broken. But because of shit like that, it makes for the dungeons to be kind of wonky, instead of it just being like, hey, by the way, you see that big ass ball over there? You could like pick that up. Like right when you enter the area, it doesn't say like, hint, make sure to take extra looks at the fucking purple cyst ball. Like, I don't know. But it doesn't do any of that, so they can be confusing. But they're also just, honestly, they're just kind of boring. Like, there's nothing that really challenges your brain. Not to mention, I don't even fucking care for puzzles. When I first saw this game, I didn't know it was going to be like like half puzzle game. If I'd known that, there's a good chance I wouldn't have played it. But they got me. But anyways, I'll go back to the cons. I'll go back to the negatives on that. But first, the dungeon designs I do think are really cool. They have a lot of like interesting dungeon designs. And the dungeons in this game, they're literally just like a go in here and solve puzzles. That's literally all it is. Dungeon, all it meaning is puzzles with some combat. And there's a couple of dungeons with boss fights. The boss fights are very minuscule. I think there's like 6 maybe. And 4 of the 6 are at the very end. And 1 of the 6 is the first dungeon you go to. And that guy takes 3 hits to kill. It's fucking silly as shit. But for the dungeons, they really took a lot of... They took a lot of game mechanics from all sorts of shit. So there's obviously your regular ones, you going in, solving the puzzles with your abilities, whatever. But then they kind of throw you a curveball and they're like, fuck it, side scroller plus like regular. So there's one where you're literally on this big ass tree, and when you go on the outside to scale it more, it's a side scroller. I personally don't care for side scrollers that much, but it's pretty sweet because you have to do all of your abilities to the side, and it's kind of fucking annoying, but it is cool. It's very interesting. They also have like this top-down aspect, like I guess League of Legends is the first thing that comes to my mind because it's, you're up here. If you don't know what top-down means, you're fucking stupid. No. So like you'll have it to where you're just running around, but you're all the way up here. Instead of having to look around you all the time, you see everything. It's a very unique concept that they just throw at you. You're like, oh, fucking sick. One of the other ones is there's like a world flipping. I don't know if anyone's ever played Captain. It reminded me of Captain Toad's Treasure Hoard, Treasure Trove. It's right fucking here, wherever. I'm gonna put it right around here. In that game, you literally play as Toad from Mario, and you can like flip around the worlds and shit. And there was only one dungeon that was like that, but still, 1 out of 26. That's it's pretty interesting. I think most of them are pretty regular. The ones in the snowy area, you do a lot of like the snowboard grinding, almost to over excessiveness, but hey, it's pretty cool. And even one of the boss fights, you're like fucking riding around, rail sliding, fucking shooting at your eye glizzy. And then the last thing that I put on here is there's a fast forward button. Because now this is a pro for me because unfortunately, the dialogue in this game is drier than a white family's Thanksgiving turkey. I mean, there is just no substance. There is no extensive lore. There's no, like, it's just it almost, and I'm not going to say it is, but it almost feels like two AI-generated NPCs talking gobbledygook at each other. One of the NPCs will come up to be like, where do you want to, what dungeon do you want to do today? Or like, where do you want to go? And then your character be like, I don't know. And then they'll be like, you should try this one. And then your character be like, okay. And that's the fucking end of it. Or it'll be the most drawn out conversation of all fucking time, but there is literally no substance in it. Like if the conversation was supposed to be breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, the only thing you have in that is appetizers for dinner. There's no breakfast, there's no lunch, there's no dinner, there's no dessert, there's no brunch, there's no fucking afternoon shit facing. There's literally just appetizers and that's it. There's nothing, there's no substance to the dialogue. And every person that you meet has their specific like way of talking. Like that fucking piece of shit Kai. I fucking hate this guy. All he fucking talks about is social media. He's like, oh, me and all my Keisters, dude, and their followers, we're gonna like go fucking butt chug some glizzies later. Obviously that's not, but like it's always just the same cringy bullshit that's like, why did you make this man like this? I hate this man. But because of how much shitty dialogue there is, and by shitty dialogue, obviously I mean just stale nothingness, the fast forward button, you can literally just press that bitch once and it's just, you don't have to listen to it ever. And it is once you get to about maybe 65% of the way through the game, that fast forward button is your best fucking friend because you're just sitting there just pressing it all fucking day. I was gonna say holding it, but you don't hold it. That'd be, you just don't do that. In terms of the good shit in this game, that's about it. So you got unique abilities, like about 50-50. About half of them are like pretty unique. 2 of them are really interesting. The main character, Louisa, can kind of be a sassy little tramp sometimes, which I think is hilarious. The art in this game looks phenomenal. I think that the direction they were going for this game was for art and drawn out conversations. And like their like day, evening, night, or morning, evening, night, like day by day system. Like they really feel like it's clear what they were really wanting to go for and what they just said, fuck it, who cares? Because, yeah. But anyways, unique abilities, main character with sassy dialogue, art designs, the dungeon designs, and the fast forward button. Those are like my 5 things. And when I say art designs, that goes for everything. The all around the world, the weapons, the characters look interesting, but they do look goofy as fuck sometimes. The monsters, like the enemies, they look random as shit, but they're unique. They're interesting. They're fucking easy as fuck to fight, but they are interesting. Really just anything. The whole game looks fantastic. It's not your super realistic type of game, but for what it is that they were trying to do, they nailed it, in my opinion. Now, moving on to the things that I didn't really like. So I already went over it, but the dialogue between the main character and the NPCs, it's almost like as if everyone who was working on the dialogue options, like, at least for like when you're starting to become friends with them, it's like they just watched Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're like, everything is all about friendship. With the power of friendship, everything is possible. And it's just so fucking like, alright, we get it. You guys are friends now. You've known each other for 2 months. You're best fucking friends. You changed my life around. Good for you. Because what happens is when you start to become friends with people, which is, I'm dead fucking serious, you have to literally become friends with them. Everyone has problems. Like, that's kind of like the whole thing with the friendship aspect of the game, is that everyone has issues. Every single person has a problem. You're the main character. You essentially fix their problem for them. And then they're like, wow, you're like a fucking benevolent god. Please, can I grovel at the knees and just lick the cum out of your dick? Like, I don't know. It's just so weird to me, like, that aspect of video games, especially in this. Like, I understand something like where like you are that guy, like you're like an alien fucking deity and you have all these like insane magical powers and you are like invincible and you go through and you save people and they actually are like, oh my god, thank you. But in this game, you're just some regular chick who gets powers based on the area she's in. And everyone that's in this city or town, I guess, gets those same exact powers for where they are. So why everyone just at the first sight salivates to just eat this girl's ass is beyond me. And I don't really know why that's the direction they chose to create this character the way they did. But yeah, with that being said, the dialogue between Louisa and all of the side characters is literally like, oh, hello, hi, how are you doing today? I have a problem. What's your problem? This. I can solve that problem. Oh, thank you. Fucking 3 years later. I have solved your problem. Oh, wow, thank you so much. I love you. Can we be friends? Will you literally fucking put a suction cup dildo up my ass? Like, I don't... It makes no sense on why they chose to, like, make this regular chick, like, this holy, ungodly, like, deity. Or, I guess, godly, like, fucking... And I'm over-exaggerating, like, a shitload. I don't know why I'm saying deity and all that, but, like, you literally do solve everyone's problems, and they're, like, you're best friends with them instantly afterwards. It's just, it's a little silly to me. So with the friendships, there is... So, the system of the game is you have to do morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Mornings and nights, you get to do nothing. In the morning, you wake up and you talk to whatever character you just last talked to the evening before, or if you started a quest, or it just goes to Teresa, the fucking the hotel owner. And at night, all you do is after your evening, when it's nighttime, you either watch TV, read a book, or go to bed. Those are the only 3 options you have. So morning and nights, they're fucking nothing. In the afternoon, you do your dungeon or you relax or whatever. That's when you go to your area, blah, blah, blah. In the evening, that's when you talk to people and build your relationship. The point of building relationships is to get rewards, fucking money, weapons, armor, whatever the fuck. But the reason I brought that up is because for the relationships, it's like a star metric system. So it's like 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star. Some people have 2, some people have 3, some people have 4. Some people, like that piece of shit Kai, that motherfucker, you have to do 2 to 3 evenings to go up 1 star. You wasted a whole evening to have nothing happen. And I think that's horse shit. Because if your whole game is based off of the fact that you're someone that's trying to have a relationship with these people, and it takes you 3 separate evenings to just build up 1 star with someone and missing out on all this other potential shit, you're gonna, especially if you're maybe not paying attention to how the game works and you're doing the dungeons too fast, what'll happen is you won't get any of those relationship benefits, which they can be helpful. But again, this is an indie game, and it's not like no Hollow Knight or Nine Souls. Like, this is just like a pretty easy indie game. So even if you don't, oh, little voice crack right there. So even if you don't get all those, it's not like you're gonna fucking lose instantly. It's just kind of like your own preference. But for me, I went through and I made sure to be fucking buddy, good old fucking, I'm fucking that guy, I'll do anything for you type of dude, just to get all their bullshit that they offer. But if you don't do that, you will miss out on all that fucking crap you could have potentially got. The characters themselves are not their art styles, but the dialogue that the developers chose to give these guys is like your run-of-the-mill, like, filler anime character dialogue. It's like Travis is a hipster who hates everything, and then after you become friends with him, he's like, oh, actually, I don't hate everything. Wow, how regular. Kai, social media dude, he has all these followers, but, which I also think is funny, because Kai Sinat, blah, blah, blah. He has all these followers, but by the end, he's like, you know what, maybe I don't need all these. Or, like, maybe I should, do some more stuff for me instead of just giving everything to my followers. And it's like, that's your whole plot point. But somehow they managed to write pages and pages and pages and pages of dialogue of literally the same sentence over and over and over. I don't fucking get it. It honestly, and that's why I said the fast forward button was so useful, because it's like, how do you have someone say the same thing 55,000 times? Like, I just don't understand how the fuck they managed to even do that. And even like every character that they made, they have one trait, and they follow that trait to a T throughout the entire game. Kai, Travis, Sam, Alex, everyone. They set themselves up to be this specific kind of character, and they say this specific kind of thing, and they run with that the entire time. No one ever goes off course. No one has ever, like, changed character or had any sort of extreme high or low emotion. So it's just like, I mean, whatever. And again, this is an indie game. I might be sounding like I'm just shitting on this thing, but it's like, I'm just looking at it at the perspective of, why bother to make this much dialogue if it's just going to be the same bullshit over and over and over? It just seems silly. This game has a lot of potential, especially if you like puzzle games. The puzzles, like, they're not inherently too hard, but they do require to actually use your fucking brain a little bit, and I'm a dumb fuck, so, I was sitting there like, oh, that's what you gotta do. But this game could have been a lot better if they would have just said, fuck all of this random dialogue, let's just make a game where you fight shit and have like some lore, like a tiny bit of conversation. Because if all of these characters were the exact same, but just 90% less dialogue, it would have been so much better, in my opinion, personally. Anyways, fuck this characters. Now we're gonna go to the plot. The plot of the game is also so fucking generic. Like, you can guess the ending of this game when you're about 20% of the way through. I'm gonna fucking spoil it, but if you don't want it to be spoiled, all of the 3 people that get this far, you may, I don't know, click off or whatever. But basically, the whole world of Hinterberg it's magic and there's dungeons. The mayor is out to essentially harness that magic to use to get money. That's literally it. And you, the main character, go there and you do all the dungeons to stop the magic because she's essentially drawing too much magic out of the magic world and using it to profit off of. So the plot of the game is you're a regular person, you come to this place where greed and corruption are, out the fucking wazoo, and then you fix it. I mean, there couldn't be a more generic plot to anything in the whole fucking world. They do it in a sort of unique way where, like, the magic is super overwhelming, and so, like, it, like, destroys the city, and then you go to, like, you don't kill the mayor, which I think would have been funny if Luisa just kind of came out there and just chopped their fucking head off. But again, back to the fact that this game could have been better. Like, I don't know why they did the plot like this. Like, they could have just they really could have just had this been like a super laid back game and just had it to be where you're a regular chick who comes to this place with powers. You do puzzles, you kill goblins, and you be friends with people. And then that's the fuck it. You know what I mean? But instead, they try to make this plot where it's like, oh, the mayor is like this evil wench. But, like, no one is ever in danger. And that's what I want in a good story. Where, like, if you don't have excessive... I shouldn't say excessive. But if you don't have real plot issues, like, oh, this person died, or that person is gonna die, or this person is depressed, or you don't have real issues, I feel like what's the point in making a plot to a game anyways? That's just my opinion. Like what's the point of making a story-based game with a plot if you're not gonna have real problems? By the way, that's why I don't like a lot of anime, because I feel like a lot of anime, there's no actual danger to any of the characters. So it's like, why? Like, I don't want my characters that I like to die, but give me a reason to feel for the game, to really make me want to be like, to give me a reason to want to, fuck that guy up, or to stop this or stop that. But in this game, it's just like, after about 40% of the way through, for me, I was like, fuck, dude, I'm going to have the fast forward button on the whole time and just solve puzzles. Because, like, the plot is just, it's so generic. I fucking guessed it from damn near the start of the game. And the characters are just so fucking boring that it's just like, all right, bro. Peace out, cousin, because I'm pressing the start button. I told you I'd go off on like 45 tangents. I already knew it. For the friendships, for the characters, the star system, you have to put in actual chore time to do that shit, to actually max these guys out. So I was at 18 dungeons completed out of 26, okay? And I was on day 27, I think. I stopped, so that was like one of my streams that I did or whatever, and I stopped playing, and I realized that, oh shit, I only have like, I'm not very good at math, I only had like 6 or 7, like 8 dungeons left. So, I'm like, but I still have so many things to do for the relationships. By the time I started my next stream, I think it was, I was on day 68. And I didn't do a single dungeon. I would go into the world because you have to. That's another thing. It forces you to go into your day, afternoons, evenings, nights. So you have to go to the area with dungeons in it. But you can relax. So at least, you don't have to do the dungeon. But still, you have to go in. So I'd go in, relax at a meditation spot. And then I'd come back and then do some shit for a person, for an NPC. And it took me, I want to say, like 8 to 10 to like 11 real life hours to do all of that extra shit. All of this filler arc bullshit just to get like my relationships high enough so that I could continue the story without, I don't know, accidentally ending it. Because I don't know the ending. So I wanted to make sure I could actually continue the rest of it. So I just don't know why it takes so fucking long to build the relationships up with these people that have nothing essentially to say. That just pissed me off. That's it. It takes way too much fucking time to build up these fake relationships with these fake people who say the most mundane shit of all time. In regards to the combat, though, I don't really have any gripe against it. It's pretty basic, but you get to use attack conduits, which are actually really interesting. I didn't talk about that in the pros, but the attack conduits are really sick. There's one overpowered one that, I mean, just blows the rest out of the fucking water. It's just disgustingly powerful. But the attack conduits are interesting. They're cool. But when you're fighting, so you have your basic light attacks and your heavy attacks. And then you have your abilities and your attack conduits. So the regular combat is just, it's so-so. But one thing that pissed me off a lot is the transition from an ability to regular combat, especially with the human tornado one. I noticed a lot where you would, so with the I don't even know what the ability is called. I just call it the human tornado because you summon the tornado and your character just whirls up to the top of it and you basically move around the map or the field. So when you get out of that attack, you basically float down. So once the ability ends, from when you're going down to when you're down and about a second when you're on the ground, you cannot move, dodge, or attack. So you can just get fucking walloped on by like 4 dudes at once. You can just get absolutely goblin gangbanged. The double G. And it is, on the hardest difficulty, is not really that big of a deal, but early in the game when you don't have a lot of health, you can get fucking destroyed fast. And I noticed that a lot of times when you come out of that, especially there's a dude that has a tree stump and he just swings around this tree and he'll just hit the fuck out of you and just destroy you, especially right when you come out of that tornado. That shit pissed me the fuck off a lot. And I know a couple other ones did it too, but the tornado one really, really pissed me off. The dungeons themselves, they're cool. Like I said, they are very unique, but man, are they so boring. Man, are they so fucking boring. Especially later on in the game, there's a couple of them that are like, actually took me an hour, a real whole hour and a half to do. And it was like, not even because I wasn't, like I didn't know what to do. It's just because it was just so long. And it was so long. But because it was so long, I just noticed myself being like so burnt out from the dungeons so fast. They can be unique as they want to, but when the dungeons are actual hours long, just solving puzzles and killing very small, easy groups of enemies, that's just personally what I don't like. Because like I said earlier, I'm not really a puzzle video game guy. I don't really give a fuck about puzzles. Like I said, if I knew this game was, majority of this game was doing puzzles, there's a good chance I probably would have never played it. I'm itchy. Give me a second. Now, I think that if you are someone who if you're someone who's into games like Penumbra or just like general like pretty mid-level puzzle games, I think you would probably actually like this game pretty well, because it does have a good consistent mix of combat and puzzles. But for me, I'm that guy, you know what I mean? I want more of a challenge in combat, and puzzles, I don't ever really think I have a hard time with puzzles, and honestly, I'm just never really interested in doing them. And I noticed that a lot of the times when I would edit my videos for these, I'd be like, fuck this whole dungeon. There was nothing I said the whole time, because I'm sitting there glossy-eyed fucking trying to do a shitty puzzle. And not a shitty puzzle, you know, no disrespect, but a very slow, long, agonizing puzzle. So if you like puzzles, you might actually enjoy this game more than I did, at least. And for the last of my like gripes I have is there is 0% chance I will ever replay this game in my fucking life. There's no replayability for this. Unless you are someone that absolutely speed ran this game to begin with, and then you go back and you're like, all right, let me be friends with everyone, then I guess you could make that case. But for me, I did everything in the base game. I beat the game, and I got every achievement in the game within one playthrough. There is nothing left for me to do. And replayability isn't a huge thing for me, but I do like it. Like Elden Ring, you could play a million times over. Fallouts, fucking, I don't know, bunch of other shit. But like replayability isn't the biggest thing for me, so it's not like I'm gonna fucking, how dare you not be able to replay this fucking game, or I'm not enjoying the replay. But this game, 100%, I will never replay this game ever again. And I just don't think that there's replay available for this. And honestly, I didn't even try. I'm gonna be dead ass. I beat this game and I uninstalled it. I'm telling you, the use of the absolute most AI generated dialogue that there was in this game, and I'm not saying that that is what is in here, but that's what it felt like. I was so ready to be done with this game, and if I feel like that, I feel like I can't perform my best within making content. For the pros and the cons, that's about it. I'll just go over the cons again briefly. Basic dialogue, slow transition from abilities to combat, cool dungeon concepts, but actually boring to do. Building your progress meter for relationships takes fucking forever. Generic plot, generic characters, and zero replayability. I did have a talking point because I was about 80% of the way through the game. I thought about this. I was like, who the fuck was this game made for? Seriously. Because there are puzzles, and I don't think they're inherently hard. I think probably for maybe not a kid in this generation, because kids nowadays are actually pretty fucking smart in video game terms. Like, they're fucking crazy. But like if I was a kid, like when I was a kid, if I was playing this game, I probably wouldn't have been able to figure out the puzzles. I feel like that's I mean, maybe I would, maybe I don't, maybe not, maybe I don't know. But like, again, but also the dialogue. So yeah, the dialogue is super basic. But one thing I noticed is the use of like the vocabulary in this game is like at a fucking, I feel like at like a college level. Like there was a couple words that I stopped playing and went to fucking Google and was like, what does this even mean? If you're putting that crazy vocabulary, this wasn't made for kids. But the fact that the plot and the characters are so regular, who was this for? Lobotomites? Straight from fucking Diddy's basement? Like, who was this game made for? Because it wasn't made for someone who's into an intense story. It wasn't made for this. It wasn't made for people who are really into like complex fighting mechanics. It isn't for people who are into like some sort of like sim game, like role-playing sim game, because it's kind of like that where you build relationships, but it's not that in depth. So it has like a bunch of different concepts, but none of them are flushed out to perfection. So I just don't know who the fuck this game was made for. And I literally couldn't tell you. Because I know it wasn't made for fucking me, that's for sure. And honestly, anyone that I know would never, ever play this. So, again, I'm not trying to shit on this game. But me, as someone who has played actual thousands of video games, I'm looking at this and I'm like, who the fuck is this for? Why did you make this? I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say why did you make this. I think they did a lot of good. I think they did a really good job in a lot of things. And I think they just missed the mark substantially on some other shit. Bonus. There's an achievement in this game called Solve the Mystery. And it literally, so the achievement is named Solve the Mystery, and like the little description for it is figure out Mayor Wagner's plan. When you get this achievement, you go through this pipe with the little pumpkin-built bitch, the little kid, and you go through this pipe and you see scientists on this other side of the glass. And then they try and drown you. And then you leave the tunnel and it gives you the achievement. You didn't solve shit. So why the fuck did it give me the achievement? You go in there and you're like, ah, yes. Machines. Scientists. We solved the mystery, Shaggy. Fucking Rut-Row, Velma. Who's behind the mask? Oh, it was the bitch we all knew it was in the first place. Like, you don't actually do anything. It pissed me off so much that I made it a cell in the Excel worksheet. Thank you to anyone who watched this all the way through. I really appreciate it. This is my very first one. Let me know what you liked about it. Let me know what you didn't like about it. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. If you disagree, go fuck yourself. I'm just playing. Let's have a conversation. Love you.